Friends of Your Marriage broadcast.
Hello, hello. We're glad you're here. We just want to start off with a little intro. We'll be right back. Well, maybe we'll be right back.
I can't wait to see you and hold you in my arms. I can't wait for the memories we'll keep inside our hearts. I can't wait, cause I've been missing you for oh so long. I can't wait, can't wait. See, I've been missing you. Can't wait.
Welcome back. Hey, we just wanted to get right into it today, letting you know that this is a trust exercise for a marriage. We are going to play a little game. And what we want you to do is get a piece of paper. Who knows best is the game. Each of you get something to write with and be ready to play Who Knows Best. What you're going to do is write your answer to the question first, then guess how you think that your spouse will answer in the second column. Don't look at each other's answers. No cheating. And then we will go back through and review how your spouse answered and how you answered and see how well you know each other. All right. So I'm going to have this little
Questionnaire.
no, this one.
The most crucial element for a happy marriage, more than friendship, laughter, forgiveness, compatibility, and sex. Spouses name trust as the element crucial for a happy marriage.
So that's why we have been working on trust for the last 7 weeks, because we want to make sure that our marriages are all safe. Here is question 1.
Which one of which one of you was the first to be convinced that you were meant to be married? A, the wife, B, the husband, both of us knew at the same time, or D, neither was really convinced, but we just did it. Again, which one of you was the first to be convinced that you were meant to be married? You want to answer?
Well, I answered B, the husband, and I thought he would say B, him. But I don't know. What were your answers?
Yeah, mine was B for both, because I believed at that time that I was ready to be married. You know, I've been in lot of relationships and found out that I was the common denominator and why I wasn't really happy. And, just gave it over to the Lord to help me to be in a successful, or not a successful, but be in a happy relationship, and I had to look at myself and realize that I had a big part to play in all of that. And then I felt like I was ready to be in a relationship.
Okay. Any We're going to move on to the next question.
If both of you got sick at the same time, which one would still be the primary caregiver? A, the wife would still be the primary caregiver. B, the husband will still be the primary caregiver. C, both of us would be equally caring for each other. Or D, neither one of us would be caregiver because we would both be big babies. I know the answer for me.
What do you answer?
It would be you. You would probably be the primary caregiver. Just because when I'm sick, I just don't want to move. I just want to lay in bed and just be there, and try to get over whatever illness that I'm going through. I don't like to move. I don't like to get up. Barely like to go to the bathroom, but that's a must. But I just, I don't know. I shut down for that period of time that I'm sick. So for me, it would be you. Normally, when we sick, you are the primary caregiver. Even when you're sick, you still get up and do for everybody. So
And what do you think I would say?
you would say you. I would say you. You would say that you would be the primary caregiver.
That was my answers too. It was A, I would still be the primary caregiver, and I thought he would say A also. However, I have to give him credit. When I am the only one sick, he does a great job of nursing me. If I am not feeling well, he'll get me, a cold rag to put on my forehead or my neck. And he will make sure that people are leaving me alone. So he does a great job of caring for me when I am the only one sick. But when we're both sick, yeah, he just doesn't want to be bothered when he's sick, and really um can't take care of others. So it's still me, primary caregiver. So okay.
Who takes primary responsibility for the household chores? A, the wife does most of the household household chores. B, the husband does most of the household chores. C, both of us take equal responsibility for the household chores. Or D, neither is responsible for household chores. We pretty much freestyle. You want to answer first?
No, you go for it.
In the beginning of our relationship, I would say me, because she was working long hours. She used to work at a bank, so I thought that I did most of the household chores. Being single at the time, being the only child, I guess I should say, I had to do a lot of responsibilities growing up because my mom was working, long hours, because she worked at the telephone company. So I had to do a lot of stuff. So I'm grateful for that because I got to be kind of self sufficient. I knew what needed to be done and I would just do it, because if I didn't do it, then I would get in trouble most of the time growing up. So, growing up and getting in relationships, that it just wasn't, something that I didn't do. And, when we first got together, got married, I would, not bragging or anything. It was just things that needed to be done. Wash the dishes, wash the clothes, you know, clean the bathroom, mop the kitchen floor, just things that I knew needed to be done. And I didn't really care about doing it. It was just something that I used to do. So now, you know, since COVID hit, I think she has been more of the one has done most of the household chores around here. So, but there's still things that I do. I try to pitch in when I can. So,
So I would say, every marriage goes through seasons, like he was explaining. And when we first got married, I was working long hours and um, a lot. So he did take care of the house really well. But now I think both of us kind of take responsibility for household chores, although there is one chore that I just really despise. I had to do the bathrooms in the entire time when I grew up. When I was growing up, the bathrooms were my chore, and I hated it. And I tell you, I don't know what the bathroom would look like if Jeff didn't do it. Because
I know.
because I just really don't like to do the bathroom. So, um, yeah, and I would say that maybe I do lean, maybe I am doing a little more of the household chores right now. But that's because I'm home and he's working. So, um, yeah, I'd say that it depends on the season of your marriage, and somebody mentioned to me that they do chores based on their strengths and their weaknesses. So, um, if you know that your spouse doesn't clean up the kitchen like you like it to be done, then if you're basing your chores on strengths and weaknesses, then have make the chore that is yours the kitchen because you want the kitchen a certain way. And somebody had mentioned that to me, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. Now, a lot of times now with the dishes, Jeff and I work on the dishes together. He washes, I rinse and put them in the um, dish drainer. So, some things that there are that you could do together. And I don't know, a chore seems to me much less chore ish, much less of a task if you're doing them together. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it seems equal when you do it together. It makes it go faster. It becomes more fun. I mean, I still have a pet peeve of you bringing me dirty dishes when I'm washing dishes. I know where they are, and I will get them. But when you keep bringing them to me, that's just a pet peeve. But you know, that's something we do. And yard work, have to go out and like yesterday. We was out pulling weeds. It just seems not, I ain't gonna say fun. It isn't fun, but it's interesting. You get the job done, excuse me, sooner when you have help. So
Yeah.
it is a partnership, and to do things together, makes it worthwhile. So
And even the outdoor chores, I love to mow the lawn. So I don't mind doing that, but this weed pulling thing, oh, I just don't enjoy that. So it does make the task much less difficult when you have someone there, beside you. Like he said, it's not always that it makes it fun, but it definitely makes the task less difficult, less horrible, if you will. But yeah, um, so I think, like with outdoor chores, I think that we are pretty equally responsible for the outdoor chores as well.
I agree.
So, okay. um, a couple of things something that I kind of wanted to pose to you, Jeff. What is the secret to being happily married?
That you're always right.
I love
Mhm.
it. I love that he understands.
I think some of the secrets to being in a happy marriage is that um, the ability to, I would say, the ability to compromise. I don't think we could be stuck on one particular stance about any particular subject. We could be, I feel we could have strong opinions about something, but if you don't, if you're not feeling the same way I am on something, I don't feel like it's my job to push you to come over to my side. It's my job to see if we can come to a mutual agreement if we can. And if not, then I guess it's just up to, I would have to give it over to God and, pray about it and see if we can come to a mutual or some type of compromise about something. It depends on if that, whatever that is, if it's affecting the household, if it's affecting the family, then hopefully that we can come to some type of compromise that we can get along and move past or just deal with that particular situation, whatever it may be.
Mhm. Yeah, sometimes you have to agree to disagree,
Yeah.
that can be difficult, but you have to be able to figure out a way around it. Compromise um, is a great secret, I would say. The other thing is happiness. You have to know for yourself that my happiness is a choice and it's not dictated by someone else. This is a very difficult thing because in our society, you know, happiness is rated highly, but it almost always involves someone else making you happy or keeping you happy. And you're not going to be happy all the time. That's just the way life is. And so you really have to know that your happiness depends on you and it's not dictated by someone else. Don't you
Yeah.
agree?
Everyone has trials and tribulations. And, you know, what sometimes I keep forgetting, or I ain't going to say forget, but I take it upon my own will, is when I get into a situation, I want to, I feel like it's up to me to solve it. And sometimes, most of the time, it isn't up for me to solve it. It's for me to pray about it and get the direction that God would have me to go. You know, a lot of times I think if I get myself into something, I should get myself out of something. But God is always there, will always be there, and is help and helps me. And if I'm in something, usually He works it out. It may not be, it's never always on just time, but it's on His time, and things seem to be. I have to go through the work. I have to have the faith that it's going to be exactly the way it's supposed to be, the way God intended it to be. So,
Yeah. So the question that we're posing is, what is the secret to being happily married? I think another thing is that you want to stay married. You want to live out your commitment to God. And that's kind of what you were talking about too, is that we have to remember that God is in this with us and that we have to depend on Him as well. And, I don't see myself married to anyone else. And I have to make that a priority. Um, that we don't see us with anyone else. And that's part of the secret is that I'm not wanting for anyone else in my life. So I think that's part of the secret as well.
yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that you have to remember is this person that you are married to is the blessing that you asked for, even if he or she um, frustrates you sometimes.
Hmm.
And
So, if I frustrate you, you don't have to talk to me about it. You can just talk to God about it.
Well, I think you both need to hear about it.
Mhm.
I think another thing is that we have to learn, and I am so working on this. We have to learn to forgive each other the way that God forgives us.
Hmm.
And that is so tough because God forgives us for everything
Multiple times, 70 times 7.
over and over again. And that's a work in progress. But the other thing, too, is that if you have the joy of the Lord in you, being joyfully married is what is it I want to say? Being joyfully married instead of happily married, because, like we said earlier, you're not always going to be happy. Um, Life doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But just because I'm not happy doesn't mean I'm unhappy. Um, but it but you just have to have the joy of the Lord in you to know that this too shall pass, you know, when you're not happy. And like we said earlier, you have to find the happy in you. You can't let somebody else dictate your happiness.
I think it's hard for us as humans, or make it personal, hard for me when I may be unhappy with you if you do something or there's something going on with you that I may not be able to fix. I may want to fix it because, I want you to be happy. Or if there's something in you that frustrates me, there's something, that gets to me on my conscience that I would love to, love to be able to do. I can think of something right now within me that I know frustrates you. And, you know, I want it to be gone. I can work on it, but I know, I don't know. I mean, it's up to me and God to remove it. But I think it frustrates you that it isn't done in your time limit. Or if I continue to repetitive do it, and I know how it makes you feel. So I think we still just need God in the middle of it. I remember, I don't know, there's been something on my mind since we started this broadcast today. I remember when we first got married, we had to go to marriage counseling classes in order to get married at our church. And one of the facilitators kept mentioning, when we have issues with one another, let's bring it to the conference table where we have our Bible, and it'd be us, and whatever the issue was, we would just open the Bible anywhere and read a couple of verses. And most of the time, whatever we read was where exactly we needed to be. And we haven't done that in a long time. And I just thought about it today, and maybe that's something that we need to continue to do or start to do again, because right, we don't want to be frustrated with each other all of the time, every day, because this makes us unhappy, and we deserve to be happy. That's what God wants us to be. He wants us to be happy, the joy of the earth, and to show our light to somebody else. If we're not happy, are we showing that light to somebody else? So I think it's just something that we need to work on.
We have a couple of comments here. One is, you have control of your own happiness, which is so true. That, just like we said, my happiness is a choice, not and it's not dictated by anyone else. I have to choose to be happy every day when I wake up. I have to choose to happily um, deal with anything that comes my way in that day. And it's not always easy, and it doesn't always um, get done successfully. But you have to choose, and you have to remember, I am choosing my own happiness today. So, very true. You have to control your own happiness. Thank you, Sheldon and Sheila. And then we have another comment. Hello, family. We love you. We love you. We love you. You know, the flesh is not willing, it's not a willing participant, it's weak. So, we always have to pray, Lord, help me with me. Help me with me. Don't you agree?
Yeah, help me with me and help me with you.
Mm-hmm.
So help
Yeah.
me with everybody. I think that's something that normally I wake up and some days I start my day off and ask the Lord for help and direct my day. Normally we have spiritual stuff all around the house, and it's easier, where we are, bathroom, kitchen, to maybe just get into the word or say something, read something that can get us, where we need to be.
um we, before, when we were saying that we need to learn to forgive each other like he forgives us, um
Hmm.
forgiveness is for us individually. um but you can't trust unless you forgive. That kind of ties us back to the trust thing. um and I sometimes think, and somebody mentioned this to me, and I thought about it quite a bit. Sometimes I think that we trust the Lord to be what he says he is, but we don't always trust him that we are who he says we are. Do you think? Or do you have comment on that?
Forgiveness is, I don't know. I feel like, read it again. Let me hear.
We trust the Lord to be what he says he is, but we don't always trust him that we are who he says we are, because we like to take it back. We might give it to God, but then we like to take it back. Um, and so we trust him that he is what he says he is, doctor, lawyer, whatever. Um, but we don't trust him to leave our problem with him. We have some more comments here. Forgiveness is important, but so hard. I absolutely agree. Absolutely. And then from the I do me too comment, great point.
I don't know. I guess it is. It is hard. You can say, we could say, I could say, I forgive you, but really, what does that mean? That I forgive you for whatever it is that offended me. I know I'm not going to forget it, but does it make it? I should say that if I say that I forgive you, then I would, you know, this a even playing ground for, whatever it is. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. That's hard. It's something that, to me, I feel like we have to work on.
And the other comment is, but if we really trusted the Lord that he is who he says he is, we would trust the Lord concerning what he says about us. This is very true too. Good point. Good point. So I think that, we need to work on trusting the Lord even more, and even potentially um, reading more and knowing what God says about us, and knowing it in our hearts and having it written on our hearts, so that when we run into tough times, we have something to fall back on. I don't know. What are your thoughts? We were talking a little bit earlier about the seasons, depending on the seasons of our marriage. When we, oh, hang on just a minute. Another comment here. I pray for the Lord to help me to forget the issue when I forgive. That is a great thing, because that is the hard part. You can forgive, but you may not forget it. And sometimes that leads to it coming up again in the future.
Well, it would be at the back of my mind that I can say that I forgive you, but yes, it's still there at the back of my mind that this keeps creeping up. The flesh keeps allowing me to remember what was done, and it would hinder me because I would be looking for that to happen, that you might be able, that you're going to do it again, whether you're not. I mean, I would be thinking that you're going to do it and knowing that you may not do it, but I might be looking for signs of you doing exactly what I think you did before. And it could, there's no trust there. So
That's a really good one. I pray for the Lord to help me to forget the issue when I forgive. That's a really good one. Earlier we were talking about the seasons that our marriages go through, like when we first got married and you were doing a lot of the chores because I was working so much. And now that I'm home and you're working, I might do a little bit more of the chores. So have you ever noticed that challenges in our relationship, they tend to be in seasons more than in days or weeks even?
no,
Yeah.
no. So what are you saying, that we have certain challenges depending on the season that we're in?
I think that the challenge is the season, that sometimes the challenge, it just keeps on going and going and going. Like for instance, with COVID, and we had the challenges of both of us working from home and trying to take care of your mom and Jaden and trying to school for him. And seemed like that season of our marriage, that challenge just kept on going and growing, and uh, one thing on top of the other. I don't know.
I don't know. I never thought about it in that aspect.
We have another comment here. We tend to remember the bad because we keep rehearsing it in our minds. Imagine how much better we would be if we rehearsed the good much more. That is pretty profound. If I always, for instance, if I always see a bad characteristic in you and I focus on that, I'm always going to see it, instead of all of the good things that come from this blessing that God has given to me. I should be more focused on the blessings, the good things that I love about you.
So the bad outweighs the good.
The bad outweighs the good. What?
So whatever good I do, then that is easily forgotten because of what bad thing I may do.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
No, see, this is how, men and women, we communicate differently. I didn't mean that at all.
No, okay.
I was so confused. Well, so the point that I was going to make is that the stresses or the problems that we face, they rarely resolve themselves and never resolve themselves overnight. Oh, here's another comment here. What you focus on is what you will bring to the light. Amen. Amen. So they rarely resolve themselves and rarely overnight. So they linger for far longer than we hope, and they impact us more than we want them to. Um, so we have to learn to deal with those stresses and those problems. Most difficulties that my family has faced required the patient work of Christ in our hearts and his people. I mean, we have to have a group of people around us supporting us that are godly. We couldn't do it on our own. Um, if it hadn't been for godly people that surrounded us and encouraged us in our difficulties, I would say that we wouldn't have made it.
You're probably right. That's why we're doing what we're doing now. We're doing the friends of your marriage, because there's people out there that experience the same thing that we're going through, and so that helps us. That gives us courage. I don't think I'm not saying a single person couldn't tell me, what might be good for me in my relationship, but someone who may actually have been through there with their spouse, you know, might have a different opinion than that single person. So
We have a comment from Dr. Aaron. Forgiveness and forgetting are not the same. You can choose to forgive the things that you remember. Forgetting is not a requirement for forgiveness. That is very true. And the other thing that kind of sticks out to me in that comment is that there are some things that are so egregious that have happened to us that if you forget, it's bound to repeat itself in your life. So here's my thought, and this is a very private share. In my childhood, I was molested, and it took me a very long time to forgive that person, but I did. But all through my childhood, I did not forget because I never wanted to put myself in that situation, um, in a dangerous situation again. So I didn't want to repeat that. Therefore, I did forgive, but I did not forget because I didn't want to put myself back in that situation. Um, and not that it couldn't have happened, but it certainly did not. Thank you, Lord. But um, in those kind of situations, anyway, I feel like it's good to remember um, that happened, but you still have to forgive because that forgiveness, if you don't forgive, that just weighs you down. Right?
it does. I mean, whenever I hear forgiveness, I feel like who am I not to forgive you depending on what Christ has forgiven me for? He's forgiven me for a lot. So I feel like I have to forgive you for it. I may not like it, but I guess to me, the forgiveness is the action what action am I taking? If I see am I kind to you? Am I or am I just being an ass? So I guess to me, there's certain action, the best thing, if I forgive you that I made, or forgive anybody, not just you, if I forgave somebody, the best thing would probably be that I wouldn't have to see you again. But if I see you, if it's somebody that I see on a daily basis, hopefully I'm giving them, the best type of treatment that God gives me.
Mm-hmm. So we also had a comment: single people give singles advice. Yeah. And, that's why we want friends of our marriage. We want people who don't take sides, who love us both for who we are. So, yeah. Well, I am going to move us to the next thing, but we are going to watch this little video real quick here.
We had to travel the world of our past to realize it was harder before cause we weren't by each other's side. Maybe it took a little longer to know together we're stronger. That's the way our love survived. Now we've gone through the fire. Love will take us higher, higher than it was before we went through love and war. See the promised land, walking hand in hand. Now that we can understand what we were fighting for, fighting for love, 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 fighting for love.
All right. And then we have a little clip about the Bible study here.
Now is time to explore Bible-based answers to real-life issues, with questions that help get a better understanding about the Bible verse for our featured topic. You can find the interactive lesson and assignments at idometoo.org. Click to access this week's assignments, and then go to number 2 to complete Bible study lesson, and click Go to Interactive Bible Study. Click Start Course, and then just scroll through the lesson and get started. Now, let's get started with the Bible verse and study questions.
We have a couple of comments here that I'm going to show. Dr. Aaron says, I don't believe that God is begrudgingly forgiving us. He loves and likes us. He is particularly fond of you both. Oh, thank you, Dr. Aaron. We obviously need to hear that. Always, be reminded. He is particularly fond of you both. I love it. And Sheldon and Sheila say, love that song. Love that song. That is so true. So the Bible verse for today I'm going to read it.
You will keep peace in a perfect peace. Excuse me. You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you.
Isaiah 26:3. That's in the New King James Version. So one of the questions, what is peace? What is perfect peace? How can perfect peace lead to a happy marriage?
Peace to me is calm, comfort, and just joy. That's what my definition would be. And I remember when we first got together, we could argue about something, but I didn't like the yelling because I heard it, in my childhood and stuff. But you know, I don't know. I like to resolve something quickly in order to get that peace. Just to have a sense of joy or calm and this collective, cool, calm, and collective. That that's what I strive for. So I don't know your definition of peace.
Oh, we have a comment here. Let's go do that real quick here. Remember Ephesians 2:10, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. Talking about that he's particularly fond of both of us. I like it. I like it. So for me, peace is not always that you are in a good place, but that you have comfort and joy of the Lord, knowing that he is going to help you through it, that he's going to walk beside you through whatever you're going through, and it's in peace. And I think that perfect peace is that you have the joy of the Lord in you, and and it can help you it leads to a happy marriage, because you can't always be in turmoil, just like you said. You can't always be fighting about something and have peace. And I think that we've gone through seasons where our marriage wasn't perfectly peaceful, and I think that we're going through a spot of that right now, and it is very challenging, and it is tiring, um, when you don't have peace in your marriage. It is so tiring, and um, it makes it harder. It makes life harder. Do you think?
Yeah, I believe that if you have an issue going on, whatever it is in your relationship, and if it isn't getting resolved in our time and it keeps dwelling up, keeps popping up, it does rob you of that peace that you're looking for. Is I don't know, I guess we have to continue to pray about it and, ask for whatever the issue is to resolve itself that we can get on the other side of it.
Hmm. Some comments. When you have peace in your home, you can focus on growth and balance in your life. It makes life much easier to have peacefulness with your spouse. Do you have comments on that?
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. When you have peace in your home, you can focus on growth and balance in your life. It makes life much easier to have peacefulness with your spouse. And another comment, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. Sometimes we don't even understand the peace he has for us. It's that awesome. We just need to receive it. Oh, amen.
Mm.
I'm going to receive that peace today.
Let us receive the peace,
There
not
you
just
go.
you. I need some of that peace.
There you go. I love it. Okay. And the second question for us, What is our mind? How can keeping our mind stayed on God help our marriage?
Keeping our mind. How can keeping our mind stayed on God help our marriage? If my mind is always on God to do what God does, to have agape love for everyone, I mean, just, I don't know, we won't have agape love because that's a God love for us. It's just maybe to do the next right thing or just have love for everybody, no matter what is done or what will happen, just to shine the light that we have. I think my light, it isn't dim, but it could be brighter. And if I'm seeking to do his will in my life, his will for me in this household, shine it on this light that we have for, reflecting if it could be bright. And there's things I need to do, to make it brighter, and that's to trust in the Lord and, read the word and just be a better person today than I was yesterday, to help this marriage, to help with, fatherhood, being a better son, being a better husband, being a better friend. It's just things that we have to strive for, or not we, that I have to strive for, you know, make me more Christ like today than I was yesterday.
Mhm. We have some comments. Amen. I love it. And we love your laugh, Callista. Oh, thank you so much.
Hmm.
Oh. And we are called to love others as he has loved us. Okay. We are called to love others as he has loved us. That is so true. And I think our keeping our mind stayed on him is, making sure that you're in the word, making sure that you are studying, that you're showing yourself approved by studying the word and knowing who God is to you. That way you can take better control of your mind. Got another comment here. Oh, others as he has loved us. Okay. So just correcting himself. Love others as he has loved us. Yeah. And I think we all know that he truly, truly loves us.
Hmm.
And if you don't know,
You ought to know. Hmm.
So, um, thank you, everyone, for joining in with us. We appreciate you being here and helping us through the broadcast. This is all based on or comes from idometoo.org. So the website is www.idometoo.org. Oh, we have another comment here in the chats. And Sheldon and Sheila said, great show. Thank you, guys. We love you. That those are some people who also have shows with us. The Sloans have a show on Monday. They host the show. Then we have the Jamals on Tuesday evenings, and that's at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Monday show is at 7 p.m. Standard and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then there's us on Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Standard or 11 a.m. Eastern. We also have the Rudges who join in with us occasionally and help us co-host or add some remarks. So we love that. And oh yes, we have a word of the day. What's the word of the day, honey?
I don't know.
We have forgotten about this part. So we have if you go to the I Do Me Too website,
Gratitude.
there you go. Word of the day. Today's word of the day is gratitude. Gratitude. So if you go to I Do Me Too and you choose prizes, then you can also put in the word of the day, gratitude, and you can win some of these prizes, some of these wonderful prizes. Okay. Oh, here's another comment here. But we really trusted the Lord that He is who He says He is. We would trust. I think I accidentally got. Hang on. Don't forget. Don't get into a discussion with the negative chatter that challenges you to prove it. You are who He says you are. If we are keeping our minds on God, we come preloaded with who God says we are. And claim it. It is written. I love it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. All right. Word of the day is gratitude. And you can go to the website and submit your chance to win some items. And with that, we will close. And here is our goodbye. We love you all. Thank you so much for joining us.
We had to travel the world of our past to realize it was harder before cause we weren't by each other's side. Maybe it took a little longer to know together we're stronger. That's the way our love survived. Now we've gone through the fire. Love will take us higher, higher than it was before we went through love and war. See the promised land, walking hand in hand. Now that we can understand what we were fighting for, fighting for love, love, fighting for love.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a great weekend.